Alycats and new viewers. So today is part 2 of my June 2017 favorites. If you're new to the channel and don't know what favorites are, that's where I list everything I loved in the entertainment industry over the past couple of weeks. I always split these into 2 parts, so you get 2 videos for the price of 1. Not really, because it's free, so it's just a saying. But without further ado, let's get into my Jimmy Jams. So let's start off with the movies I've enjoyed so far this month. If you want to see the movies that I don't mention in this video, if you want to see my thoughts and ratings on them, either follow my blog, alycatgeekery.com, or follow me on Letterboxd, or both for extra brownie points. But here are my absolute favorite ones. First up is John Wick Chapter 2. I adored the first John Wick. Keanu Reeves was such a badass, and he's still a super duper badass in this second one. I couldn't think of a better terminology for it. But it's just more bullet porn, it's more balls out combat, it's just more blood and gore and everything I loved about the first one, but without the puppy death. Spoiler if you haven't seen the first movie, but most people know. But I just adored it. Now, I do think the first one is still the better film, but John Wick Chapter 2 was so much fun. It was so colorful. There were so many cool characters, and I just had a lot of fun with it. Next up are 2 movies that I'm going to put together, but that is Desperado and Once Upon a Time in Mexico. These are the sequels to Robert Rodriguez's first film he ever made, El Mariachi. And these films follow El Mariachi, who is played by Antonio Banderas, and these films are just so much fun. And I was really surprised to see in these films some other props and other things mentioned that pop up in Robert Rodriguez's later projects, and I thought that was so much fun. These are full of celebrity cameos and roles, and they're just really fun movies. They're not the best movies ever, but they're really fun, and I have an unashamed love for Robert Rodriguez and his films. So I adored Desperado and Once Upon a Time in Mexico. The next film up is Blowout. This is a film by Brian De Palma, and it's superb. It stars John Travolta as a man named Jack Terry, who is a sound recordist. He works mostly for a B horror movie company, and he is trying to capture the perfect scream for the latest horror film they're releasing, and he witnesses a really gruesome blowout, and he gets caught in a media firestorm and a conspiracy, and it's just really well done. The only thing I didn't like about Blowout was Nancy Allen's character. She just kind of got on my nerves, but the whole story is brilliant. John Travolta is fantastic, and I love Brian De Palma's direction and cinematography. I also really loved A Man Called Eva. This is based off the book by Frederick Bachman, which I also really loved, and A Man Called Uwe is about a man named Uwe, and he really wants to commit suicide because his beloved wife Sonia died, and he wants to join her. But every time he tries to commit suicide, one of his neighbors interrupts him, and he's a very grouchy person, but as the film goes along, you understand why he's this way, why he's so cold, and you see what happened to him and the sadness that lurks inside of him, but you also see the goodness of him and how he does stand up for his neighbors and he does fight for his neighborhood, and it's just such a wonderful, moving film. Next up is Super. This is directed by James Gunn, and I love James Gunn. I love his writing style, I love his direction, and this is just such a fun send-up of the superhero genre. Super is about a man named Frank, played by Rainn Wilson, whose wife leaves him for the owner of a strip club, and he is determined to get her back, so he becomes a superhero called the Crimson Bolt, and he gains a sidekick with Ellen Page's, I think, is her name Bolt Girl? Oh my gosh, I forgot. I'm terrible. But it's just a lot of fun. It's really raunchy, really gory. It's got James Gunn's trademark witty writing, and it's such a good film. Like, especially, I freaking love Nathan Fillion as Jesus in this film. He is fantastic. If Nathan Fillion was Jesus, I'd be all over that. I'm just saying, he's fantastic as Jesus. Like, that's one of my favorite parts of the whole movie, is Nathan Fillion as Jesus. That should be a whole, that should be a film in its own right. I'm serious. But Super is so funny in a really dark, twisted way, and I just really loved it. If you like movies like Kick-Ass, you'll really like Super. Now the next film up, I wasn't expecting to like it, let alone love it, but I did love it, and that is Full Metal Jacket. I don't have a good history of Stanley Kubrick because I hated The Shining in 2001. I know you're gonna crucify me, but Full Metal Jacket was so good. It's about how war dehumanizes people and how the effects of war can wear down soldiers, and the performances are just phenomenal. Vincent D'Onofrio was just Oh, so good. And Matthew Modine, Adam Baldwin, all the rest of the cast, and I just love how Stanley Kubrick depicted the war, and it was a really moving film, and I was surprised I actually loved this film considering, like I said, I don't have the greatest track record with Kubrick's work, but Full Metal Jacket was a winner for me. The next one up is the Lego Batman movie. I love the Lego movie, so when they announced there's a Lego Batman movie, I was excited. And it's freaking fantastic. It's funny, it's charming, it's got meaningful messages about family and friendship and fighting for what you believe in and how everyone needs to be a part of a team even if you feel like a loner at times, which I need to learn myself. But the voice acting was great. I love seeing all these different characters, not even just from the Batman universe, but from universes that Lego has the rights to that were just really fun to see in this movie. Of course, there are a couple of musical numbers that get stuck in your head, and it was a lot of fun, and it was just so colorful and cheerful and vibrant. The next film up is The Matrix, which I had seen some part of The Matrix when I was younger, but I remember my uncle's VHS tape just totally messing up, and I couldn't watch the rest of The Matrix. I was so upset when I was younger, but getting back to the point, I finally watched it in full HD in all of its glory, the whole movie, and oh my gosh, this movie is fantastic and phenomenal. It's easily one of my favorite movies of all time now. It still holds up today. Some of the effects are a little cheesy, but for the most part, it still holds up. I really connected with the red pill, blue pill situation. I loved, again, Keanu Reeves' character. He was such a babe. Neo, he was just great. I loved Trinity. She was a badass. I loved exploring the Matrix and learning what the Matrix was, and I'm just really excited to see the next two movies. I know they're not as good as the first one, but I freaking adore The Matrix. So that was all the movies I've enjoyed in the past couple of weeks, but now let's move on to TV. First up, I am loving the last season of Orphan Black. It is just so good. It's full of what makes Orphan Black great in the first place. It's got dark, twisted humor. It's got themes of faith and science. It has the bond between the clones, and this season is focusing more on individual clones on each episode. I have adored Orphan Black since the first season. I've loved the concept of how they have explored how these clones were made, and just seeing the bond between the clones, and the fact that every clone is played by the same person and every clone is completely different just blows my mind. Tatiana Maslany is a goddess. This is a fantastic show. If you're into hard sci-fi, definitely check out Orphan Black because it's just so good. So good. And also, I really love the second season of Preacher so far. The first two episodes have been gonzo, but they're brilliant. I love the Saint of Killers, who is played by Graham McTavish, who played Dougal McKenzie in Outlander, so he gains extra points already for me. But the Saint of Killers is just so badass and evil, but I'm rooting for him at the same time. And I love the relationship between Jesse, Tulip, and Cassidy. It's really fun to see them interact with each other, and the humor in Preacher is again dark and twisted, which is my favorite kind of humor. And I just love seeing what this group of totally disparate people get up to. And all the music I love is listed in the description box down below. I know this was a little barren of a favorites video, but I think what I did mention was quality, because obviously it's my favorites. But if you like this video, leave me a like. Let me know what your favorites have been so far, or this whole month down below in the comment box down below. Yeah, that made sense, Alyssa. Share the video if you liked it, because that helps my channel grow. And also, if you're not subscribed yet, but you'd like to be, hit the subscribe button. Also, make sure you hit the notification bell next to the subscribe button, because that will alert you every time I upload a new video or start a new live stream. And also, if you'd like to follow me on social media sites, they're all listed down below in the description box. I love you guys so much. You're always my favorites. Peace and kisses. Bye. Oh, geez, guys. I'm so sorry you had to see my terrible dancing. But while you're here, if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, you'll see my face floating over here in the near future. Click it and that'll sub you to my channel. Also, make sure, if you want to see the last video I uploaded, to click that up here. If you want to watch a playlist of videos that you can watch over and over again, that'll be down here as well sometime in the near future. I'm just going to go back to my horrible dancing now, okay?